One of the most important trees in the swampy area of the Big Thicket is the cypress tree. It is easy to identify because of its ruffled-looking trunk and lacy-looking needles. It will also have growths shooting up in the water around the base of the trunk. These growths are called cypress knees. Scientists think that these knees may help get air to the roots. They may also help stabilize the heavy weight in the water. This is one way the tree has adapted to living in swampy areas. Cypress trees make a cone about the size of a walnut. When dry, the cone opens up and releases seeds. The seeds of these huge trees is only about the size of a tomato seed. The seeds must germinate and root during a dry time. If the tiny seedling is flooded too long, it will drown. So cypress trees need a time of drought to grow large enough to withstand floods. A population of cypress trees will show definite size differences between the individual trees. This size difference indicates a size class or group that got started during a drought. In the Big Thicket region, droughts are usually about every 25 years. Cypress wood is extremely strong and durable. It will not rot, and it is insect resistant. Early settlers used cypress for everything. Houses, stores, ships, even the derricks at the Spindletop oil fields were made from cypress. Some of the trees had grown so large that it took up to 8 people holding hands to circle the trunk. Sometimes it only took one tree to build an entire house. Cypress trees were logged from about 1700 until the 1920s. As demand grew for cypress wood, loggers began to clear out much of the trees from the swamps. Because they did not have power tools, they used a method called girdling. They would make a cut around the base of the tree. This cut eventually stopped nutrients from traveling from the roots to the top of the tree. Loggers knew that a dead tree will float, but a live tree will sink. They would wait a few months before coming back to the swamp, at which time the tree was dead above the girdling cut. They would chop down the tree and float it down the river where it was taken to the sawmills. So many trees were being taken out of the swamps that there are pictures of log jams on the river. The logs were so close together that people were actually seen walking across them as if they were a floor. Fortunately, we still have cypress trees. Cypress trees average 50 to 80 feet tall and spread to 20 to 30 feet. Since they only grow 1 to 2 feet per year, it can take up to 80 years to reach maturity. The oldest tree in our region is estimated to be 1,200 years old. They are a main habitat for herons, egrets, and other wading birds. Frogs and alligators and other reptiles and amphibians use the protection of the cypress trees and knees for breeding habitat. In the past, there was a large woodpecker named the ivorybill that built its nest in the cypress trees. As the cypress trees disappeared during the peak of the timber trade, so did the ivorybill because it lost its habitat. Sadly, it is now considered extinct. This is an important reminder that we must practice good conservation efforts in order to protect our birds and wildlife. Points to remember. Cypress trees have adaptations for living in a swamp. 2. Cypress knees are an adaptation to help the tree live in a swamp. 3. Cypress trees were logged to build many of the area's structures. 4. Cypress trees are important in the Big Thicket habitat.